this is my girlfriend, Izzy. And while we have a very strong relationship and love each other to bits, the journey here was a bumpy one. Now, there are a hell of a lot of things no one tells you about relationships that I had to learn the hard way. But first, let me take you back to before I knew what I was getting into, our first date. We had been friends in school for a while, and I quickly realized I had feelings for this girl. Feelings I'd never had for someone before. I started sitting next to her every day, doing my hair, dressing nicer, taking breath mints, all to eventually, finally build up the phenomenal courage to let her ask me out. Yeah, okay, she asked me first. My flirting style of standing around awkwardly until they fall in love was apparently irresistible. Way to go, Brody. Now future you will never hear the end of this.
Suck it, loser!
We decided to see Top Gun Maverick together. And let me tell you, I cannot remember a single thing that happened in that movie. All I could focus on was how to do the move. You know, the movie date move. The yawn and shoulder. The old wraparound. The infamous, are you cold? But I was just too anxious to do it.
I don't care what you tell me. I'm gonna have to fly that plane and I'm gonna have to fly it good.
Do it, man! What if she's just waiting for you to do it and the fact that you haven't yet is making her nervous? Or what if she totally hates you and if you do it, she'll think you're a total creep? How will he know if he doesn't go for it? He's gonna remember this night no matter what, I guarantee that. Fine, how about he just sits here doing nothing and they just stay friends who awkwardly went on a date and Brody can never talk to a girl again? Alright, I get it!
That's what the plane's for.
Okay, I'm doing the move. Yes, I literally said this.
I'm the plane guy. Planes are my thing. Planes are my life.
Oh, I can't believe he did it. Oh my God. By all means, the movie was a success. Whatever happened in there. Tom Cruise eating airline food or whatever. But the date wasn't over yet. There was still another date night cliche to spike my anxiety. Well, that was a good movie, huh?
Yeah, I loved the planes.
And I love the guys. I mean, not like that.
Well, hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, me too. Me too. She wants you to do it! Just do it, you coward! Be a man! Do it! Can I kiss you?
Sure. Okay, I'll see you at school.
Whoa! Yeah, she likes me! I can't believe it! Yeah!
We did it! We kissed! And everything's been smooth sailing from there. Breaking news! So, we packed up our supplies and wheeled off to the campsite. Right away, I got to setting up this old tent I borrowed from my dad. After I spent 1,000 years detangling the wire monster of a tent and setting it up, I realized something was missing. Does that look unstable to you?
Might be a little lopsided.
Our tent literally started flying away. Apparently, the random tent from my dad's garage didn't have pegs. It was one ugly kite. But I was not ready to give up yet. We will have our Instagram-worthy date or we will die trying. So, we hopped in my truck and drove all the way back into town to go to Walmart. After we got a shiny new $30 tent, since apparently you can't just buy pegs, I was genuinely frustrated. Nothing had gone to plan and it was the first time Izzy had ever seen me angry. I sloppily threw the tent up and started working on a fire. Maybe I could salvage my masculinity if I got this right. But when I went to grab the materials, well, it turns out my masculinity had a bigger part in packing our bag than I did. I had packed nothing but a flint and steel and a survival knife. Before we had gone camping, I'd bragged to Izzy about going to wilderness camp one time when I was 13 and that I can start a fire with practically nothing. So there it is in my bag. Practically nothing. I tried and failed, and it just wasn't happening. Izzy even found some matches, but those wouldn't work either. I even resorted to burning some of our homework to get it started, to no avail. Sorry, Mr. Jones. Oh, this is so stupid!
Do you mind if I give it a try?
Fine, whatever. I mean, I went to frickin' wilderness camp when I was 13, but for kicks and giggles, let's have you give it a go. Get up. So, we finally got our s'mores and hot dogs. No thanks to me. And after an uncomfortably cold night of sleep, we went home. With a caveat that our next date would be more, normal. And hey, if there's one thing I accomplished on our trip, it was making a memory. For better or worse. Despite all the glaring red flags, such as collecting Mario plushes, having idiotic friends, and being a YouTuber, she still wanted to be with me somehow. But that's not to say the red flags were all on my side. There were tons of things that definitely were not outlined in the terms and conditions. First of all, as a boyfriend, you forfeit your right to hoodies. They belong to your partner now. One time, Izzy asked,
Are you gonna wear that?
To a hoodie I was currently wearing. Yeah?
Well, that's too bad.
How did you, what? After living together, you may get the treat of doing laundry for your partner. And going from men's clothing to women's clothing, on top of having 0 pockets and no sizing standards at all, it simply makes no sense. What the? That doesn't make any... That's impossible!
What happened in here?
I'm not strong enough. Secondly, Izzy has a software glitch that prevents her from picking up her phone when it is most necessary. This cannot be fixed. I go to the supermarket to pick up something she asked for and call her to double check. No. She has vanished from this mortal plane. But the moment I leave the store, she's right there to call and tell me it's completely the wrong thing. Another thing I definitely wasn't prepared for was the hoarding. I'm a textbook young dude. If I was single and left unattended, I would live in a studio apartment with a single TV, camping chair, and mini fridge. Actually, the apartment is optional. But my perspective is not shared. Izzy holds on to everything. I'm talking about homework projects from 5th grade, receipts from 10 years ago, and blankets or clothing that are just begging to be put out of their misery. Look, I'm all for sentimentality, but I fail to see how a receipt for rat poison and ravioli from 6 months ago is supposed to be useful. Wait. Although, I'm not blameless in this. When we first got together, I promised Izzy that every month I would give her a new Squishmallow. You know, those egg-shaped plushes that drive people crazy. Which is really cute when you first get together. But after a couple of years, they've slowly and inevitably taken over our home, and I'm afraid if we turn the lights off, they will take over our souls. It also didn't take long for me to become the designated driver of our relationship. Not like she's incapable of driving or anything, she just slightly makes me fear for my life. She's a passenger princess, if you will, and that term is fitting. She's over there kicking off her shoes and scrolling Instagram reels while I'm trying to navigate downtown Calgary at peak rush hour. But naturally, this does not stop her from commenting on my driving or, quote unquote, helping me out.
Stop! Gosh, babe, are you trying to kill us?
But in fairness, I'm a bit of a kitchen king. I can cook an absolutely mean macaroni and cheese, but otherwise I'm better left on the sidelines. So cooking together usually goes a little something like this.
Don't touch that. That's sugar.
Oh,
Why don't you go grill the steaks, hun?
you want me to put meat on hot metal and stand still until it's done?
Mm-hmm.
Yay, I'm helping! Recently, Bryson, Izzy, and I were all sitting together on a flight to Anaheim for VidCon. Now, I'm pretty tall at 6'2", but Izzy dunks over me at a Goliath 6'5". So, needless to say, standard plane seats are not our friend. We knew going in that our knees would be assaulted, but we were excited about our destination, so we grit our teeth and took off. Not long after, the guy in front of Izzy just flies backwards, digging into Izzy's kneecaps. I immediately sprung into defense mode and tapped the guy on the shoulder. I told him, hey, can you put your seat back? My girlfriend is very tall. To which he nodded and complied. Sublime! I happily turned back to continue beating Bryson in Smash Bros because he sucks. But not even 5 minutes go by, and he just does it again. So I quickly tapped on his shoulder again. Hey, could you put your seat back? My girlfriend is still tall. Actually, no. I'm trying to sleep here, and the way you asked was actually very disrespectful. It's a 2-hour flight, and dude, I asked you nicely. Look, that's just not the way we do things around here. Around where?
Who's we?
I get it. I'm 6'2", but the guy in front of me reclined, so now I have no room either. Now let me sleep.
Just ask him to move forward.
What? No. We quickly got into an argument, and Bryson and Izzy chimed in to tell this dude off. But there was no negotiating with this moron. I looked at Izzy and asked, do you want me to push his chair forward? But not wanting to escalate the situation, Izzy rightfully said no. She couldn't even recline herself since our seats were right beside the bathroom wall. All we could do was stare at his cul-de-sac-looking bald spot and imagine plucking his dwindling hairs from his thumb-shaped head. So, when he briefly leaned forward to get his drink from the flight attendant, I stuck my knee behind him and made sure he couldn't recline. He looked at us, getting more and more irritated and trying to force it back, but I wouldn't budge. Eventually, he asked the attendant to sit somewhere else, but the plane was full, and I held my ground all the way until the plane landed. I beat him. And to sweeten the victory, when this dude stood up, he was barely 5'6". If he's 6'2", I'm Shaquille O'Neal. Lastly, a quick PSA for anyone entering a relationship for the first time. There are unspoken rules as a partner that you must abide by. You're gonna wanna write these down. If you go to a restaurant, you will be taking the crappier seat, and you will be calling over the waiter if their order is wrong. If you're playing Minecraft, turn keep inventory on. Swallow your pride, gamers. Go play hardcore on your own time. Many relationships have fallen to the nether. If they ask you to do something when you're free, they're asking you to do it now. If they ask you to do it in a few minutes, they're asking you to do it 10 minutes ago. So get on it. Now, go! If they put down their phone, you put down your phone. It is no longer phone time, apparently. Unless they specifically ask you to, don't try to solve their problems for them. Just listen. This is the first thing Brock told me when I got into a relationship, and it's true. This list goes on forever, and I'm still adding to it, but this will hold you over for a few weeks. Despite everything, I wanted to genuinely say that relationships are worth it. I talked about all the funny stuff here, but if I talked about everything I love about Izzy, I'd never shut up. Even though I made fun of her a ton in this video, I really love and appreciate Izzy more than words can convey. She seriously is the best, and is very awesome and cool and pretty. And I would still love her if she was a worm!
I need to know you mean it!